We're back to making fun of the Cleveland Browns. We're on Stefanski getting fired watch. We're on Shedeur Sanders watch. We're watching that Hawaiian leprechaun and that fiance get a little freaky on TikTok. And we got some news today. And there's rumblings about Stefanski. Like, where's he going to go once he's fired? He ain't even fired yet. But people are talking about like there's a market. We're going to dig into that today. But before we do, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're here to make fun of these coaches, this organization. We're on Shedeur Sanders Watch. We're watching the practice reps. We've been doing this all year long. Keep you in the loop. We're finding the conspiracy theories, the news that keeps getting dusted under the rug on this franchise. It's all right here. Click that button. Stop missing out. But the Browns are about to clean house, either soon or in the off season, but you're starting to get that rumbling from the big media empire.
You bring back Stefanski, Andrew Berry, Deshaun Watson. I mean, what are they doing? How are they getting any better? So I do believe now, no matter what happens Sunday, win or lose, I think it's inevitable that they are going to clean house.
Dillon Gabriel sucks. I don't know why they drafted him in the top 100. That should have been your final clue on this coaching staff. That should be the clue to the next organization that looks at Stefanski. Like, what went through your mind when you made that pick?
I don't think he performed even well enough to be a competent backup quarterback. Maybe he gets there, but I didn't see it in the games he started. So, yeah, it's a really strange situation for them going forward, and I think a lot of it is going to hinge on what Shadur does this last month. You know, if he plays like he did in the Raider game more consistently, you're going to feel like maybe you have something, you want to kick the can down the road on drafting a quarterback. If he's more like, you know, combination of yesterday and the Ravens game, you know, you're probably still going to have to draft a quarterback in the top 5. So they're in a weird spot. But again, like, I don't know that any quarterback is going to do much with this offense. It's just not very good in every way, shape, and form.
I think Shadur would be more caught up to speed if he got the proper competition in training camp. If they allowed him to compete at least with Dillon Gabriel. That's not what I think. I think he should have been the man all along. Like, he should have been. He would have been caught up to speed. But if he would have had all these reps all along, we would have been there.
Ward's played a lot more, and you'd like to see Ward be a little further along in what I'm about to say. Shadur, I'm not the least bit surprised. Shadur is still playing at college speed, okay? He's not dropping back with the quickness you need to drop back. He's not getting back in the pocket, setting his feet. So what happens is you end up being slow in what you're seeing because you're not really ready to process and deliver the football. So this week, he did not see what he needed to see at the necessary speed. He was just playing a little slow twitch. And that's very, very common, Ross, for college quarterbacks, particularly those that spend almost all their time in college in the shotgun, when there's almost no sense of, let's get back in the pocket, let's plant that back foot, let's get ready to deliver the football. So he missed Jerry Jeudy a number of times in this game where he just didn't throw the ball, and the route concept and route design was really clear. It appeared to me, watching the tape from the multiple angles that I can see, that he looked right at him. In other words, it wasn't a case where he didn't see him, because that was the play design, and he just did not turn the ball loose. So he either wasn't processing it, it wasn't registering, he wasn't ready to throw the ball. I can't tell you what's in his head, but you can't miss those kinds of plays where the play design works perfectly, and he just didn't turn it loose.
Shadur is getting better every week, game by game. If you watch the tape, you watch the games, and you go game by game, you're seeing him develop, and we hope to see him out there for the rest of the season because I want to see how good he can get.
Took care of the football, there throughout the game, which is a positive, something that with young players you stress. I thought operationally it was cleaner. As he gets more comfortable, more reps, more opportunities in and out of the huddle, communicating at the line of scrimmage. Felt like we had more time at the line of scrimmage to get some things called up front. So, I think ownership of the system, ownership of what we're asking him to do, making good decisions, I thought there was some progression there for sure.
Shadur has to start getting on fire, and that's the thing. He has to start catching fire in these games. It's going to be hard to do when the coaching staff takes the ball out of your hands, but we got to start spraying and praying it all over the field.
I mean, even really good quarterbacks have dips of longer than the amazing thing. He's only been in this league for 2.5 games now. Yeah. And I was thinking about because EPA per play is such a brought up thing. My friends in Vegas love it. Obviously, they bring it up every chance they can get. And it's like, do you know who's fourth lowest in the previous 5 weeks? Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? There are definitely stretches that even perceived to be great quarterbacks go through just absolute lulls. Aaron Rodgers. Everyone's like, oh, these 20-plus yard passes are so easy to complete. Aaron Rodgers hasn't completed a 20-plus yard pass in 5 weeks. It's been 5 weeks since he's done it, okay? You have really good quarterbacks that just go through these ups and these downs, but unfortunately for Shedeur, you don't get to have one of these 3, 4, 5 week stretches where you just don't play your best football. You have to be playing your best off the rip. This is how this works now with you.
He has to blow up against the Bears, Bills, Bengals, and Steelers. We have to leave no doubt for this franchise going forward. They have first-round picks in the chamber to blow on a quarterback. They are probably going to clean house, bring in new coaches, and they have to come in looking at Shadur, wanting him to be their guy.
I mean, he'd have to really light it up in my mind. I mean, he would have to somehow string together 5 performances and leave no doubt. And that would probably involve winning a bunch of games too. And I don't know if that's going to happen. But, you have to look at it so even if he goes out and plays well against Tennessee, and I don't want to try and take credit away from him before he plays the game, but, if he goes and plays well against Tennessee, that's great. That's a step in the right direction. But you don't become a franchise quarterback by beating the 1-11 Titans, right? Now, that shouldn't take away from it if he does. But it just speaks to, I think, how hard it is for him, or how hard it's going to be for him to convince the Browns, even if he plays relatively well over these 5 games, that they don't need to do something at quarterback. Now, he could still be in the mix, and he can, make a case to be in a competition, especially if they don't take a guy in the first round. But I don't think there's enough runway for him. Or if somehow Dillon Gabriel ends up back out there, I don't think there's enough runway for either of those guys to make the case for next year.
We don't trust Kevin Stefanski one bit. Not with Deshaun Watson back, not with Dillon Gabriel. We have to play well. We can't leave any doubt on the table. This is a very winnable game. This is a game where Shadur should look good if we play to our capabilities.
This game sets up as the ultimate opportunity. But I think the Browns know that too. And so I don't know if this is a hot take, but there's a part of me that feels like Shadur is playing for his ability to start the final 4 games on Sunday. And if he had a bad game or a step back or however you want to quantify it, if the Browns deem it not good enough, it wouldn't surprise me if it was somebody else starting the next week after that.
All right, who are we going to if that's the case then? Are we going to Dillon? Are we going to Deshaun? Or are we going to Bailey Zappi?
No earthly idea.
Okay, yeah, because that's where that's the hard part I have in this discussion is that, I don't know who you'd go off to and then be able to make the case that, you somehow are even putting up more of a worthwhile fight.
I mean, I think Kevin would go back to Dillon Gabriel if he could.
Stefanski's getting fired. The media's starting to feel it. It's leaking on ESPN. Everybody's talking about it. You can definitely see people making excuses about it. You're seeing Mary Kay saying, oh, I think he should be here another year, as the Grinch is going to do what the Grinch is going to do. But you're looking at this. The rumblings are getting hotter. The seat's getting hotter. This team is cleaning house soon. And it's got to be a full clean out. It has to. And there has to be change.
This being out there, it's not an accident. And I don't think this is from the Browns side of things. This is very clearly Kemp Stefanski putting this out there because I think this is a sign of 2 things. One, the writing might be on the wall for them, or at the very least, there's credible fear now for the first time.
Yeah.
And 2, it's a better safe than sorry. Let's put that out there just to gauge interest. And it kind of honestly, what happened with Mike Vrabel before Mike Vrabel got fired in Tennessee, where we heard that 3 weeks out, and everybody just kind of quickly went, they're not that dumb, and then they were that dumb.
But you got to get your ducks in a row, right? Yeah, I mean, if you're Stefanski, how do you possibly think you're escaping this?
Yeah.
There's no way. And I know everyone keeps going back to that idea of like, well, they're safe in the building, everyone in the building. Okay. I wouldn't believe Haslam why would you believe Haslam in this?
If we see Stefanski back here next year with what they got, it would be the same. It would be the same. Like, how are they going to fix the offensive line, wide receiver depth chart, and then deal with these quarterbacks? Like, how can you trust him to develop a first-round quarterback? It does not matter who it is, with what you got around him, with how you distribute the reps in practice, and the lack of development and focus on your young players, with how you strategize going into games, trying not to lose instead of trying to win. We saw this the whole year. We definitely saw it last week. How is this going to work another year or two? What's the point of another year? What's the point of another week? What's the point of another day? What's the point of last week? What was the point of all this? What was the point? What was the point? The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall about a month ago. Like, he was done. He was done. And we can make the excuses he's working with rookies and this, and this, and that. But he's been on this team for how long? He's had control. He's had input. He's had say. For how long? How long? And it's not just like the players around him. Like, it's also like the mindset going into these matchups, trying not to lose instead of trying to win. We've been calling this out since July. We saw the writing on the wall with the practice reps. We saw that because ain't no way you're giving Gabriel reps over Shadur, and you watch the tape from college, you look at all the draft reports, you look at every single bit of information out there, and you go, you know what? I'm going to draft Dillon Gabriel in the top 100. Shadur falls to me in the 5th round, and I'm going to keep doing this. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And now you're in this predicament where you're cramming development with Shadur late part of the season, trying to save your ass, trying to save yourself. Like, what the heck? What the heck? I look at Stefanski, and this is the problem of the whole team right here. It's actually more of the top, but you're looking at this. He had control of the reps. I know there's a limited amount of reps, but you can decrease them when you start seeing your third-round quarterback throwing the ball in the dirt, completing 20 to 30% of his passes in training camp after being a blunder in OTAs and minicamp, having rough practices there. I think you'd see enough to where you need to elevate the competition when your 5th-round quarterback's completing 70 to 80% of his passes. I think you'd see enough. Who would hire Stefanski again? Why are they trying to say there's a market? Why are they trying to say there's a market? What did his dad do? What did his dad do? Because Stefanski, he's had some moments in the league, but what did his dad do? Because this has been the blunder of all blunders, and it's been live on tape. It's been live on tape. Cleveland racked up the stats in training camp. Everybody looked the other way and said it's just training camp, but they didn't peel it back, looking at what they were doing actually here in practice and the blunder of all this, and they're acting like there's a market for Stefanski. They're acting like there's a market for Stefanski. Like, who's going to pick him up after this? Like, if you got to develop quarterbacks, you keep that guy away. You keep that guy away. You keep these pieces away from you. Like, if you're another team and you end up watching this because for whatever reason, you keep this coaching staff, especially Stefanski, this organization, whoever was pulling the strings here, back in minicamp, OTAs, and training, you keep them away, far away, far away. They can't make decisions on personnel. They can't do that. From what it was Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. It was Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco that came into the offseason. People try to have optimism over that. I said, once I saw that, I was like, you might as well tank. You might as well just tank now. Might as well just tank now. Might as well just tank now. A lot of people question that, like, tank, it's just like, you just look at it. You know you're not competing for a Super Bowl. And if you know you're not competing for a Super Bowl with your vets and you got 2 rookies there, why not open up the competition for development for the future? That's your indicator that Stefanski knows he's not having much of a future here because he's trying to not lose games, trying to get by. He showed you that in training camp, and that didn't happen. He knows he's on the way out. He knows he's on the way out. So he's just trying to get by. He's just trying to get by. He's not trying to develop. He's not trying to push for the future. He does not have a future here. He does not care much about the future. He cares more about right now. And whatever gets him by another week, that's what he's going to do. So get rid of him now. Get rid of him now. We saw it in last week's game plan. I've been saying this the whole time. And you think, oh, this is a Shadur Glaze champ. Oh, man. Heat's been on Stefanski a lot higher. Oh, man. Oh, man. Like, this guy has the mindset that I hate. The loser's mindset, playing not to lose, playing with scarcity, living in scarcity, a scarcity mindset head coach. Once you get to this predicament where you got to develop, where the tools aren't there, and you got to make it happen, you got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and he can't do it. He just showed you he can't do it. So why would you hire a coach like that? Why would you have a full market for a coach like that? Why would you do that? Why do the same people keep getting jobs? Why does that keep happening? Why does that keep happening? Like, this has been a failed experiment. Everybody keeps saying he's a good coach. I can definitely see where they could come from with that from earlier, but everything got opened up. Everything got opened up. This is no upside with him. No upside at all. No upside at all. Everything has to be perfect for him to succeed. Everything has to be there. Everything has to be there for him. Everything. There's no development. There's nothing for the future. If you got to build for the future, you don't want Stefanski. That's for sure. You're definitely seeing that here. Now you got Shedeur Sanders. And we've been high on Shedeur Sanders. I get it. But the thing about this, he wasn't getting the opportunity. Now they got to cram him every week. They got cram development every week. And the thing about this process and what I've been calling out, and I believe a lot of you guys with me on this, like, he could be ruining 2 rookies. Like, this is the not for long league. This is the not for long league. Like, players come and go. Players just get this cloud on them and they go to team. And it's not like you can just sign with a team and they'll just anoint you. Like, you got to go through the shit again. You got to go through that again. And the fact is, like, Gabriel, good backup quarterback, may not even be good enough for the league now. May not. Where if you gave him time somewhere to just develop, sit in the back and develop. And Shadur, if you allowed him time to get reps, opportunity, and all that to develop to his upside and strengths, like, who knows what you got here? Because we're definitely seeing a guy that can play in the league. We can definitely got a guy here that can play in the league. With this context, what we're seeing here, and a lot of people will say, nah, this, bro. You weren't here. You weren't here. You didn't even watch last week's game. You can't comment. You got to sit it out. You don't know. You weren't here. You weren't here for all of this. Like, you don't know. You're just passing by. But looking at this coaching staff has done a horrific blunder. And Andrew Berry, I'm just throwing you in there. So if someone say, why not him? He's just in there. He's just in there by proxy. He's still catching strays. Don't worry about that. I'm on with the ownership, leadership, all of it. It's just Stefanski, like, allocating everything, the mismanagement. He's got to catch that heat. They got to clean house. Clean house means everything as much as possible. Change it out, rip it out, pull the Band-Aid off. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.